So many people hold their baby in a way that just sucks. And today I'm going to tell you a great way to start holding your baby that's going to help prevent their plagiocephaly and torticollis, and will just be easier on you and the baby. Stick around to find out what you're doing that sucks. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to break down what a bad holding position for your baby looks like into 4 mistakes. And this is the first one. It pretty much just means, and you guys are going to be surprised by this, that you're going to be holding your baby from under their bottom and just letting them sit there, and then their heads are going to be flopped to either side, and their arms are going to be flopped as well, which is why I call it, what I call it, floppy baby or something. Anyways, a lot of people hold them like that. They have hold the baby right here, and they would hold them up right here. You don't want to do that. That could cause plagiocephaly or torticollis, and that's not good, so don't do that. Pretty simple, just that's not good. That's the first mistake that a lot of people make. Alright, let's get into the second mistake. Mistake number 2 is the exact opposite of mistake number 1. Let me explain why. So mistake number 1 is where the baby's arms and head are flopping to either side, but mistake number 2 is when you're holding them too tightly so they can't really move around at all. So the goal is to have a sweet spot where you're letting them move around and reach for stuff and grab for stuff and start to develop their brain on how stuff works, because a lot of the time their spending is in people's hands, and that will actually predict their life as it goes on. So you want them to be moving around, don't want them to be too floppy like step 1. Okay, I'm gonna call this one the constrained cocoon. Why I'm calling it this, I have no idea, but you're gonna stick with it because I told you to. Okay, it simply just means holding your baby too tight, and that's bad, and that's mistake number 2. Let's jump right into mistake number 3. Let's get this done with. Alright, mistake number 3 is called the hip dangler. Another made up name, and you guys are gonna have to do it because I told you to. This one is also pretty self-explanatory. It just means that you're holding your baby on one hip more than the other one. So they're gonna be taught to have uneven hip positioning, which just leads to a bunch of other problems like hip mobility problems with the joints and muscles, and just also muscle unevenness. And it can also lead to hip dysplasia, which just means the hips are going to be displaced. Okay, so the hips are just in an uneven position, and that's bad because it will cause unbalance in the body and in the hips. Alright, we're flying through this. Let's get straight on to number 4. Alright, number 4 is all about posture and keeping their head upright. So what you don't want to do is when you have a baby, a very small infant, and having them up against your chest facing outwards. A lot of people want to do this so their baby can see around and see what's going on, but that's not good because their head's gonna flop, kind of like the first mistake, but this one's different because it's focused more on their spine. And also it could technically also cause the torticollis or plagiocephaly, but majorly it could also get their body in a C-shaped position, which can make them just have really bad spinal issues later on in life, which is exactly what you don't want. I don't got no crazy name for this one. I'm just gonna call it the facing out position, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just keeping your baby facing out when he's too little to be able to do that, and that's just bad for the reasons I said. Like, it gets them in that C position, it just screws up their spine, and it can work their muscles in their head too hard because they have to constantly keep their head up. So that's a bad one, and that's all 4 mistakes, and that's exactly what you're doing wrong. Let's get on to what to do instead so you don't have to keep holding your baby like a maniac. Okay, let's get into that. This is good hold, benefit technically, way of good holding your kid, number 1. The first thing you're gonna do is something that I actually didn't make the name of this time. It's called the football hold. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, you're gonna be holding your baby like a football. The legs are gonna be facing off of your hand, and they're gonna be facing down like they're doing tummy time, and their head is gonna be right here at the top of your forearm or whatever side you wanna do it on. It's good to switch off sides so they don't develop plagiocephaly or torticollis. Okay, let's get straight into actually what it does and why it's so beneficial. Firstly, it's gonna help build the muscles in their head and get that sensory development in older body because it's just mini tummy time, which is a great way of just holding your baby. It also provides sensory input to the tummy, and it just builds all those muscles in the neck and kind of in the back as well, and just gets them in a way that's also comfortable for them as well, and also prevents all the bad things that in the bad cases I talked about before. So you're not going to be dealing with plagiocephaly, torticollis, or just having babies that scream and just don't enjoy it, and also can end up with a really weird looking, unpleasant posture. Okay, let's get straight on to the good habit for your holding your child, number 2. Alright, I'm gonna call this one the cradle hold with head support. This one is the exact opposite of number 1. Let me tell you exactly what it is. So before you had your kid, his legs were facing off your arm here, and his body was up against here, and his head was just resting right at the top of your forearm. This is going to be the exact opposite. You're going to have your kid, his head is going to be facing here, And before he was facing down, so it was tummy time, he's gonna have his head on top of your hand right here. And then you're gonna have him lay down on his back right here, and his legs are just gonna be dangling off to the side or whatever they're doing. And then it's great for feeding, great for looking at your child. It also gets him looking around. Just make sure that he's not to one side or the other side, like he's resting on his side to side, because that could develop plagiocephaly or torticollis. So make sure that he's directly back. And if he is on one side, make sure that you're switching off from side to side, just like with any type of hold that you're gonna do for your baby. This one, it just prevents all the bad stuff, and it also just allows the baby to be very comfortable and allow him to just bond with you and have a great time. This one is more focused on comfortability, but it's also just a great way to hold your kid. Alright, let's get straight on to good habit for holding your kid number 3. Alright, the third habit is chest hold, whatever name you want to call it. I don't even have any more names at this point, but this is exactly what it is. You're just gonna have them leaning over your shoulder so they can be looking around and having a good time, while it's also a comfortable solution for you. You just have to have them hold right here with one hand, and the other hand, just grab their head right here. So they're gonna be against you like this. I'm gonna go for a 360 view so you guys can see this. Have your baby right here, and remember, he's facing backwards, so you guys are gonna be facing reverse ways. So he's gonna be facing that way, I'm facing this way. You hold his bottom right here, his stomach's against your chest and on your shoulder, and he's just looking out here, and you're giving him head support. That's important. Like all the bad ways of holding your kid, a bad version of it was because he didn't have head support. So you have to make sure that he does have head support for this one, because it's just gonna be like the rest of them, except a little bit more comfortable. Not having head support is bad because it could develop plagiocephaly and torticollis, just like we said before. It could also ruin posture and other things and muscles. It's just not good in general. So give them head support, and as they get stronger, start giving them less and less of it until they're able to really move around their head, and you can tell it's easy for them. And we already said all the good information that you guys needed to hold your baby correct. So I hope you guys liked this video. Please like and subscribe. Tell me which one you thought was your favorite of the good and the bads, and stay posted so you guys can know what's coming up next.